It took me 2 trips to lug all this over. We got well over 100,000 obsidian and a whole bunch of other materials that are required for this build. Let's build ourselves a 32 chunk slime farm. So this is only 24 slime chunks so far, and also all of these are going to need a roof, but I'm kind of running out of time here, and I want to get this slime farm actually working in this episode, which is already probably going to be a little bit late. So I'm going to do the rest of the farm, and then we can circle back and finish up all these portals. As far as the farms themselves go, as I say in my last episode, it's actually a pretty simple design. The slimes will spawn inside the portals themselves, and they'll just get instantly teleported to the nether, and that frees up the mob cap and allows us to capitalize on having this many slime chunks. If we didn't teleport them to the nether, we'd fill up the mob cap in just a couple of slime chunks. But when we combined this many slime chunks together, we ended up having an extra layer of complexity, and that was all the pigmen. They were filling up the mob cap almost instantly. There were so many pigmen, and we're using turtle eggs to lure them out, and we even tried breaking the bedrock down to the ground so that we'd void them so that they die a little bit quicker, but that still didn't make a difference. We were still getting 80-90 mob cap just from the pigmen themselves. So what we ended up doing was lighting only every other portal. So we placed some blocks here to prevent ourselves from accidentally lighting the portals. And that allows us to only get half as many pigmen, and we can still get small slimes that'll spawn in there, but as soon as they jump, they will immediately teleport to the nether, and they don't seem to be as big of a factor as the pigmen were. So that's how we dealt with that problem, but it took us a little while to figure all that out. And then the last thing we got to do is we got to add roofs to this that will extend out 5 blocks from every chunk border. And that allows for pack spawning to occur. And when I added that in creative, it actually took the rates from 420,000 items per hour to 500,000 items per hour. So that's a pretty big difference. Oh, and in case you're new to the channel, we got all this obsidian by using withers in the end to break the end frame over and over again. We did that back in episode 50 and got over 2 million obsidian that way. That's why, even though we're only lighting half of the portals, we still end up using obsidian for the entire frames here, and even the corners, because it's really just of no consequence to us. Now that the overworld side is mostly set up, we got to set up the nether side, and that is where we are going to kill all the slimes and collect the 500,000 slime balls per hour. So I've set up this portal here that links to the other side of our perimeter. So this is going to be the portal that we're actually going to send the items through, and I can walk through back and forth through it. We're going to have to set up the portal that the slimes will come through. That'll be somewhere inside of all this netherrack here. So a lot of clearing to do and a lot of setup to do over here. is an awful lot going on here. So we'll start with the portal. That's where the slimes are going to come through. All of the slimes from all of the portals in the overworld are going to come through that one portal up there. And if we come up here, you can see they're going to land here on top of some magma blocks, and the magma blocks are what's going to kill them. And then we want to get the slime balls out of there. And so we had a couple of options when you're dealing with as many slime balls as we have. Hoppers under soul sand just was not an option. It would completely overload the hoppers. Wasn't an option. So we had either rails or flying machines, and both of those have problems that when they're unloaded and you leave them on, they break. Flying machines are worse than rails, but rails will eventually, one of the minecarts or several of the minecarts will stop, and when you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of items, just having one row stopped could actually lag out the server really quick. So I wanted something super reliable. So I got this tethered flying machine from a YouTuber called Borkin. He's slightly smaller than me, but he's growing fast. He's only been playing Minecraft for about a year, and he's got some really great ideas. So you should definitely check out his channel. So he's got this tethered flying machine, and we got a timer over here, and this should theoretically be unbreakable. He actually just ran into a way that it is breakable. He's going to post a video in the next couple of days. I'm on his Discord, so I'm going to look for that and make sure that I fix any breakability problems, but we should be able to make this unbreakable so we can just leave this on. I don't want to have to come into the nether and turn machines on and off, because everything, when we're actually AFKing the slime farm, I'm going to keep it all on the overworld side. So those flying machines are going to push the slime balls up against these slabs and into the item collection system. The item collection system is this conveyor belt here. This is actually another invention by Borkin, and it's a feed tape that will handle lots and lots of items. Basically, you just got a feed tape of soul sand and stairs. The items will actually land on the low part of the stairs, and you can just push them across hoppers. And in this case, we've got a whole bunch of sorters down here. We do unfortunately need sorters because we will occasionally get rotten flesh and gold from zombie pigmen that get crushed by the flying machine, and I don't want those getting sent into our shulker box, so a sorter was an easy enough solution to that problem. And then underneath those sorters we have 16 of my 4-speed shulker box loader. It requires that many shulker box loaders in order to handle the 500,000 items per hour. Although technically we're not getting a full 500,000 items per hour because we've got this small gap right here where the flying machine is tethered, and unfortunately some of the small slimes can actually get in through there. There's actually magma blocks underneath the repeaters to make sure that they die, but we do lose about 10,000 items per hour to this little gap right here, but I consider that an acceptable loss because the machine is so reliable. I was willing to lose some of my items in order to not lose more if we're just AFKing and the machine is broken. Once all the items have been loaded into shulker boxes, we're going to send them over here up this item elevator, and then we're actually going to spit them through another portal into the overworld so that we don't have to come into the hi Enderman. So we don't have to come into the nether to get all our items. We can actually just collect them over on the overworld side. But what I'm the most proud of is actually this invention over here. So we're actually using both sides of this portal. So we're going to spit the filled shulker boxes through the portal right here. And then we're going to, in the overworld side, we're going to have a crafting system so we can craft them into slime blocks. And then the emptied shulker boxes are going to get sent back over, spat through the portal again, and then collected into these hoppers right here and sent right back through the system. So that's pretty cool. The problem is this thing is going to fill 280 shulker boxes per hour. So if you want to AFK this for 8 hours, that is about 2,000 shulker boxes. We're actually going to load up 3,500 shulker boxes. So 4 boxes of shulker shells. And that would be 64 chests that we'd have to place here in order to hold all those empty shulker boxes. But we have carpet mod on, and we've actually enabled shulker shell stacking. But the only way that that works is if they're on the ground. It doesn't stack inside of inventories or anything like that. And if you put them in a chest and send them through hoppers, the hoppers will only send them 1 item at a time. So that won't work. But we came up with a system here that's kind of cool, not super practical, but pretty cool. It's based on the same idea as what I use for my rocket dispenser to get exactly 64 of them. So we've got 4 droppers here. We've timed them so that they get ticked 16 times exactly. So it drops 64 shulker boxes onto the ground. And then there's some pistons to move them around. And then they get collected If we see if we can actually get up there. And they'll actually stay in hoppers. If you collect them from the world into a hopper, they will stay that way. They will stay stacked. So what we've done is we've got 11 hopper minecarts sitting right here. So they get pushed into this honey block. They'll fall down through that and into the hopper minecarts. And this will store 3,500 choker boxes in these 11 minecarts. So I think that's a pretty cool system. Let me craft up a bunch of choker boxes and we can actually see this working. Item Scroller actually makes it really easy to craft all these choker boxes because it'll actually throw them down on the ground here. So if I click on this and then I do my auto craft here, it's going to throw them all on the ground. If I wait a second, I've got nice clean stacks here and I can actually color them the same way. I go in here, have to do it a few times because it's a little weird. And then it throws them all on the ground. It might not stack them super cleanly this time. Yeah, it's not super clean, but it doesn't matter. All we got to do is load them up into this chest right here, and this will do all the work for us. And you can actually see in this hopper, it's only moving one at a time, and then into this chest. And whenever this chest gets full, it's going to start the process. It's going to spit them all out. We can actually go see that from the other side. And then from this side, we've got a nice angle of it. We can see them get spat out on the ground. Sometimes it'll accumulate into 2 stacks, so we just knock it over the edge there, and that makes it into just 1 stack, and then it gets pushed into the hopper minecarts right there. It's a very cool system, saves a lot of space. I like this system quite a bit. Again, in case you're new here, we use Carpet Mod to make shulkers respawnable in end cities, and we set up a shulker farm in episode 56 using Carpet Mod, and we basically have an infinite number of shulker boxes. In case you were wondering where we got all these shulker boxes, that's why. If we didn't have infinite shulker boxes, we probably wouldn't have set up a farm this big, because let's be realistic, there's 2 of us on this server. We're doing this because we can, not because we need this many slime balls. So we've come back over to the overworld. Now it's time to set up the item collection and AFK spot. And there we have it. We've got the AFK spot right here, and Ilmango's crafting system. I built this quite a few times before, always found it very, very useful. This will almost certainly be no exception. And we've actually got it within reach of the AFK spot, so we can actually craft while we're AFKing, because this thing will actually put out 4 shulker boxes per minute. So very, very impressive there. So we need a lot of storage back behind that crafting system. So we've got 70 double chests back here. Should support a little over 12 hours of AFKing. Definitely a lot of storage. And then I've got this lighting system up here so we can actually see how full it is while we're standing there. So I can like be AFKing and I can check on the computer real quick and see how full it is. So that's pretty cool. And then we've got water streams. So the one water stream leads from the portal and into all these chests over there. And then the empty shulker boxes are sent up this way through this one and then spat back into the portal. So very cool system. So, I guess now's the time. I gotta take a long flight back to turn off the mob switch. We've had the mob switch on for the whole time. So there's no slime spawning right now, but as soon as I turn that off and come back here, slimes should be spawning free, and we can actually watch this thing work. I'm excited. So I kind of forgot that the slab roof was actually a requirement in order to make sure it wasn't just for pack spawning, it's to make sure that nothing spawns on top of the roof. So this thing is not going to work very well at night right now, unless I put a bunch of sea lanterns up on these roofs. But for right now, at least so we can see it working, I can fly far enough away that those will all despawn, and then it's daytime now. So if I stand in this spot, let me load up my spectator account and we can see the slime spawning on the other side. So this is what this thing looks like at half strength. We've only got 2/3 of the portal set up. We don't have the roof set up, so we're looking at probably 250, max 300,000 slime balls per hour. And it's still very satisfying to watch. Just look at it. It's just a fountain of slimes. They're all getting burnt to a crisp. on some magma blocks down here. This is just, man, it's just so many slimes. And again, this is only a half strength. I'm really excited to see this thing at full strength. Hoping to get it there real soon. And then over here on the overworld side, I've only been running this thing for about 5 minutes. We got 9 shulker boxes in there. There's a hopper on top of that that's full, going into this chest that has 12 shulker boxes in it. So we've got about 3 shulker boxes of slime blocks at this point, which is more than I've had in this world, period. And it took us about 5 minutes. But, I mean, it took us several weeks to build this thing. But now that we have, another shulker box has already come in. So that's where I'm going to end the episode. There's still quite a bit more work left to be done, but I can finish that up either between episodes or the beginning of the next episode, and then we can see this thing working at full force, and I'm really excited about that. But I'm really happy with how far it's come so far. This is an amazing slime farm, and we're not even done yet, and that's pretty awesome. I hope you enjoyed the journey, and I hope to see you again real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye now.